Yes, you are.
No, I say we are.
I'm trying to figure out how to go live. Well, that's gone. Okay.
Let's see here. I'm just getting a couple things going real quick.
Okay. Oh.
There we go. Now I can see this one over here. Perfect. Hi, Dr. Tiff.
Hi, Barbecue Jim.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. I am getting my TikTok fired up. There we go. Oops, let me turn that down.
Yes, yes.
Hi, Dr. Tiff.
Hi.
You know, when we talked earlier today, it was the first time we've talked since last Tuesday night, which is a couple different things. That's a shame. Like, we should talk more often than this. But when I called you, I was like, it feels like I just talked to you. And I think you kind of said the same thing. Like, we just hung up, and it's been a week. Time is flying by. Time is flying by. Folks, welcome to this live stream. So my name is Jim. People like Dr. Tiff call me Barbecue Jim. I'm the Healthy Pit Master. I'm a lot of things. Ask my wife. She's got a lot of names for me. None of them are flattering. Guys, my name is Jim, and I am a professional competitive barbecue cook. I'm going to say that. I say that a little bit loosely. I've not been as active on the competitive tour as I'd like to be. So if you are a competitor and you're looking at this saying, hey, I haven't seen this guy in a while, that's true. You'll see me next year. We're going to come back out. But I found myself sick as a dog. Type 2 diabetes, totally uncontrolled type 2 diabetes, 12.2% A1C. I had a 459 LDL. I had a 565 cholesterol with a 22 HDL and a 561 triglycerides. Everything was awful. In fact, Dr. Tiff, I don't know if I ever said this to you before, but the triglycerides to HDL ratio that's supposed to be under 1.8, mine was 25.5.
Yeah, crazy.
Awful.
Crazy.
And I was just kind of living the medicated life. I was kind of doing what the doctor told me to do and taking the pills, eating boring food, bland food, because that's what I had to do to stay alive. I was 44 years old when I got diagnosed, and I wasn't quite ready to call it quits yet. I got a big family, and I didn't want to abandon my family. I got a beautiful wife and beautiful children, didn't want to do that. So I made my changes, started doing the things that they told me I had to do, and it was kind of all hunky-dory until one day came along and I couldn't get Trulicity anymore, which was what I felt was really keeping me alive. I was taking Trulicity, a 4.5 milligram pen once a week. And if you're unfamiliar with that, guys, that is the Mounjaro, the Ozempic, those sorts of things. Trulicity is just another one of those. And I was on a maximum dose of it. And all of a sudden it was on national back order. I couldn't get it. People were using it to lose weight. I was using it to stay alive. And it was very frustrating. Around that time, a good friend of mine of 30 years, who is quite literally one of the smartest people I've ever met in my entire life, she told me about the Unicity Feel Great system. As an absolute skeptic, and I consider myself a reasonably intelligent person, right? She told me people were reversing diabetes, and I thought, don't say dumb things. You can't do that. I started the program January 4th. On February 16th, I got a call from my doctor saying that I could quit taking Trulicity altogether, that she thought I might be in remission. And so we tested again on April 20th. My A1C was 5.2%.
Awesome.
That was a year and a half ago. My A1C is still a 5.2%. Right? In fact, I'm going to do something real quick. Let's do this live. I'm okay with it. That is my glucose number right now.
Wow.
I wear a continuous glucose monitor. That is a Freestyle Libre 3. I was a 12.2% A1C. I'm now completely unmedicated for more than a year and a half. And that was my glucose as we look right now. And more than the 105, I think you noticed it was a pretty flat line.
Yeah.
That is my story. I started talking about the Feel Great system on TikTok, telling a ton of people about it. I've managed to see a lot of people have a very similar story. I'm very passionate about this. And I stumbled across Dr. Tiff, Dr. Tiffany Marie, And she's an amazing human being. And we decided to start co-hosting this. And Dr. Tiffany, would you tell everybody your story? That was my story. What was yours?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was your story. And it is such a phenomenal story. Oh my gosh. That is what I'm doing this for. So I'm a real medical doctor who honestly is just tired of writing prescriptions. And so I know people say I'm tired of taking them. I got off a call with somebody. She was like, I'm just tired of taking them. I said, man, I'm tired of the hand cramps and having to write them all, having to get them prior authorization, having to, you mad at me because how much they cost? Like I'm making money off these prescriptions. I'm not. But, the sicker you are, that actually, gives us more reimbursement. But that's a whole nother conversation. Point is, this, when you keep writing prescriptions and people aren't getting better, who is that for? I mean, that's not for me. So I didn't get into medicine for that. I got into medicine to see people get better, to see people's lives change, and coming across a product that actually helps me do that was everything, especially when I got to help my family with it, got to get my brother off of his insulin by doing these projects, got to get him out the ICU. And, I had to make him do it because who listens to their sister? I'm just a sister sister who went to medical school, whatever. But it's stuff like that makes this all the while. And then everybody else who joins the call and meeting people like the Healthy Pitmaster who reversed their diabetes is huge. This is why I'm here.
It's an amazing feeling, is it not? And I had my mother-in-law on the call last week. She's reversed type 2 diabetes. My mother has reversed type 2 diabetes. And then there's friends now that have done it. And then there are total strangers that I've met on social media. What does it feel? Dr. Tiff, I know that I've kind of tap danced around this. You're accomplished in the medical field. You've been doing this for a while now. You've probably seen it all. And you've probably seen some pretty amazing things happen with medicine. Mm-hmm. What does it feel like to see your brother, your sibling, come off of insulin with this system?
I mean, everything. To know that he's actually able to, one, so not only my brother, but my father refused to take medications. So knowing my brother was just as hard-headed as my father, and unfortunately my father died after his third stroke, refusing to take medications for his diabetes, his blood pressure, his cholesterol. And so once we knew that was in our history, and it became a no-brainer. I said, you're going to stop being dumb. So the fact that these products did what I needed them to do for my family, that was it. I was sold then. I was like, you didn't have to tell me anything. I mean, if he's the only person I help, I did my job. That's awesome. It made everything for me.
It's amazing, right? Okay, so here's the deal. What you have in front of you on this live stream is two people who are very passionate about this product. I'm just a random barbecue dude. A lot of people found me on TikTok. This is a medical doctor. I want to think I'm pretty knowledgeable about the system, but I think this is a great little combination here. Stick around for this live stream. It's not just Dr. Tiff and I. We bring in guests who have had amazing experiences on this protocol. And tonight we've got two amazing guests, absolutely amazing guests. I'm really excited to see them come up. Before we get to the guests, I always like to ask Dr. Tiffany a question. It's my thing. Every week I like to ask her a question. By the way, if you guys have a question that you would like me to ask Dr. Tiffany, why don't you guys send me a direct message? Whichever platform you're on, if you're watching us on TikTok, on Facebook, on Instagram, send me your question for Dr. Tiff, and I'll sift through them and I'll pick the best question. How about that, Dr. Tiff? I like that. She's like, oh, okay. I'm going to go with the question that I had. And I saw a post on one of the social media platforms, and I don't remember exactly which one it was. But I saw a post, and it kind of bugged me a little bit. Like it got in my head, and I couldn't quite get it out. And I'm going to paraphrase because I can't find, for the life of me, I can't find the post. But it was a doctor. I believe it was on Twitter, I believe. And what he was saying was that effectively all of the primary care physicians that have their own private practice have now, the private practice has been purchased by the hospitals or by the insurance or something like that. And basically the doctors who are independent, and again, I'm speaking in broad terms, right? But the doctors who were independent, who could make their own decisions, don't work under the corporate umbrella, they're gone. That doesn't exist anymore. That there's a very small percentage of the doctors that are actually able to not work within the corporate confines. Is this true, doctor? And can you elaborate on maybe what it is that's in my head here with this? Do you understand what I'm getting at here?
Yeah, I understand what you're getting at. Okay. First of all, y'all need to be tagging like crazy. If he's going to keep putting me on the spot like this, y'all need to go and get everybody who wants to hear some doctor be put on the spot. Because, see, it's because I like Jim. Why even do this? I'm cool. Okay. So I can't speak for, because I didn't get the full data on that. But I will say I did have a private practice. It is so hard to have a private practice with managed care confines, with them controlling their reimbursement based upon whether or not you gave somebody with diabetes a statin, even though they may not have wanted a statin and want to do lifestyle changes first. Or the fact that they have diabetes, or if they just have heart disease, give them a statin and another blood pressure medicine just because they have heart disease. It's that type of stuff that you don't get to think and run your practice the way you want to, and it affects your reimbursement. And your reimbursement, I know you guys want to talk about doctors getting money. We got to pay the staff. We got to pay the light bill. We got to pay all those things. We got to pay back our loans for some of us. A lot of doctors that look like me didn't go through medical school for free. I'm just saying. So, yeah, we need to get some reimbursement on our time and our effort. But when you get hired by a hospital, because that's where a lot of us went. I actually did an employed physician job with a local hospital. They end up trying to put you under their confines. So you have the management care confines, and then you have the hospital confines. So it becomes very difficult. And I think that's where you get some of the physician burnout. We lose the love for medicine when we're stuck in that type of environment. And then it also, if we're not happy, if your physician isn't happy, that's not going to come across to you, and you're not going to like the care you get, because that's why you get those nasty doctors or those doctors stuck in the computer because they mad they got to be on the computer in the first place. It's that type of stuff. It is happening more. That is true. To percentage on how much is happening, I don't know, but it is for sure happening a lot more. I have colleagues that are closing their practices left and right.
Wow. That closing statement, you have colleagues who are closing their practices left and right. So, and I say this kind of tongue-in-cheek, teasing a little bit, but there's always this idea that the doctor's out, they got to get in their 18 holes before they show up to work. Not so much?
I mean, not for me. I wish I had that lifestyle. I work 10 hours straight, and that's not even just with seeing patients. That's because I can do labs, look at messages, call people back. There's so much more work, especially with primary care. I mean, people are coming with all that paperwork for me to fill out, for them to get off work, or to get their dog to be able to be their emotional support dog. I mean, it's that stuff. I'm doing stuff all the time. I'm a social worker, a psychiatrist, a doctor, a nurse.
Jack of all trades and a master of all, I'm sure.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So I just heard Dr. Tiffany talk about tagging people in. If you're noticing the stream of names people are tagging in, we're going to talk about an amazing system that has amazing results. In fact, it performs better than medication a lot of the time. It's amazing. It's all natural, plant-based products. The manufacturer offers a money-back guarantee, which you're not going to get with traditional medicine. They're basically guaranteeing that you're going to be happy. Now, to that point, if you've been tagged into here, as in somebody invited you into this live stream, and hey, you know what? I think I want to try this product. I'm interested. I want to try this. Get back with the person that invited you into here. They will tell you how to order the system. Everything is purchased direct from the manufacturer. There's no middleman. You buy it direct from the manufacturer. And so the person that brought you in, the friend, the family member, whatever it was, they have a code. They have a little code. It's a discount code. It gives you a lifetime discount to the manufacturer. So if you are interested in trying the product, and hopefully you do try it, get back with the person who invited you into here, and they will tell you exactly how to order it, okay? If you stumbled across this live stream and, hey, you know what? I want to order it, but I don't know anybody that's on it, get with either Dr. Tiffany or me. If you get with either one of us, we'll put you in the right direction, okay? And to that point, you can find me on all social media, The Healthy Pitmaster. Just look on every social media, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, you name it. I'm on all of them as The Healthy Pitmaster. Dr. Tiffany Marie, tell us.
I'm on all my social media as Dr. Tiffany Marie. If you type that in, you should be able to find me.
Okay. Now, that being said, if you're already on the system and you're thinking, hey, I want to and I want to tell my sister about this. I want my sister to listen to Dr. Tiffany Marie. Maybe you want your sister to listen to the barbecue gym, whatever. And you want to invite them into the Facebook stream, just type the @ symbol. I don't know what that's called, but the @ symbol, and then start typing their name. And when you type their name, eventually it'll populate, and just hit enter. That will tag them in. They'll come in, and there's going to be time at the end of this for questions and answers. Okay. So I think before we go any further, Dr. Tiffany, we got to understand, what is the problem? What exactly? We're hearing a lot of claims of people improving their kidney health, their type 2 or reversing diabetes. They're losing. Last week, Michael lost 60 pounds in 9 weeks. What is the deal? Why is this thing kind of blanket covering everything? Why is everything getting better with this? Talk to us, Dr. Tiffany. What's the problem? What's the sickness? And why is this thing working so much?
Yeah, I mean, that's such a great question. The reality is, I think a lot of us don't understand what's happening. If I'm going to be perfectly honest, I know the doctors don't fully understand. I know I didn't. I practiced family practice for almost 20 years. It wasn't until the last 2 years that I said, okay, hold up. There has to be something else. So, Jim, you can see this okay, can't you?
Yes, I can.
So the reality is, we're all simply walking around thinking like we understand the big problem. We don't. The problem is insulin resistance. But look at this. The top 10 issues that kill people all can actually be prevented. All can actually be corrected with our lifestyle, which is huge. Okay. I mean, that's heart disease. That's Alzheimer's disease. That's stroke. That's COPD. That's your lower lung infections. And then we're finding out that the cardiometabolic health risks is actually increasing. I mean, and I'll get into that in another slide. And then type 2 diabetes on track to surge 700% in young Americans. So it's not just an old people thing. It's young people. And heart disease, despite everything we're doing, I mean, even Robert Lustig talks about how in 1960s, we were telling people to eat less fat because we thought that would decrease, the heart disease risk or decrease obesity. And it hasn't. Things have just still been going out of control, ballooning out of control regardless. When you look at this, and this is a tough study, it's actually metabolic health. That means 93% of us aren't. And if you actually use lifestyle changes to reverse these issues, if you use lifestyle changes to fix these chronic conditions, you can do that about 39% of the time. And the prescriptions we prescribe, statins, only improve people's health about 1% of the time. That's crazy. So what is metabolic health? It's really how well your body can make and use energy from your food. So helping your cells function at full capacity. That's a real simplistic view to say that. And of course, I like to start this out. If you are like me, you can't go anywhere without tripping over somebody who has any of these conditions. Your family events, your church events, the grocery store. I mean, plenty of people are walking around with this. So that 93% number doesn't sound that strange. That means everybody can benefit from something to improve their metabolic health. And what's driving this health crisis? We talk about this all the time. In the top left, you got big food. The bottom, you got big agriculture, and you got big pharma. And big food really includes all these big name countries that have all this processed foods. Everything that's packaged, boxed, and barcoded is nobody's friend. It's not. It's taking the fiber out, so it makes it easier for us to eat it. Makes it easier to become addicted to it. Has all these pretty colors to it. That was the point. And when you look at like these old things, these old carrots, these old potatoes, everything looks different. Even the old chickens look different. Even the old seafood looks different because so many things have changed in our environment. The toxins in our ground, the antibiotics we're giving our meats. I mean, things just aren't the same like they used to. And fiber isn't fibering like it used to. And so what happens is you got that modern food environment, big food, big agriculture, and you end up having to go see your doctor because you're feeling bad. And then you end up with drugs from big pharma. And it makes this awful circle where we're getting older in the middle, we're having low energy, we're having difficulty losing weight, and we're constantly hungry. So what do these things have in common? Insulin resistance. You have the Alzheimer's, you have the diabetes, you have the low testosterone, you have dementia, which is type 3 diabetes. All those are related. And looking at these symptoms, one that I really do like to talk about is I have people that are like, I'm constantly hungry. And so for years, we've kind of blamed that on people and made that feel like that was their fault. You're just overeating. This is you just thinking you need to eat in your head. And so some of that is really the fact that your cells aren't responding to insulin. So your cells are actually hungry. And not only that, they're craving sugar and salty snacks. The brain fog, feeling tired after meals, the itis, like the slide I like to show that I'm going to show a little bit later, polycystic ovarian syndrome, which is the leading cause for infertility in women. And then this visceral fat, this fat that's under the skin, it's the non-jiggly fat. That's the fat that actually kills us and puts us at risk for heart disease. And then the skin tags. So many people have skin tags and they think this is normal. It's not. If we actually improve insulin resistance, when we do, those skin tags actually fall off. I get comments from people saying, oh my gosh, my skin tag actually came off. I wasn't expecting that. Well, I told them it was going to happen. Same thing with these dark patches on the neck. That's acanthosis nigricans. That's overproduction of pigment in the skin. Yeah, that gets better too. And so what is insulin? Insulin is a hormone. It does a lot of things, but it's one of its main functions is to regulate blood sugar. And so when you eat, your carbohydrates and your proteins, pretty much almost all the macronutrients, except for your fat, is going to break down into glucose, okay? That's the energy source. And when it does, your pancreas, which is an organ behind your stomach, releases insulin. And that's this purple circle here. That's insulin. And so what insulin does is it opens up, it unlocks this and makes a new receptor. So glucose, that's the purple, comes into the cells to be used for energy. So when you eat this high carbohydrate meal with the burger, the fries, and the soda, which is sugar, it shoots up your carbohydrates and it gives you a big boost of that glucose in your bloodstream, right? So then your pancreas has to release insulin to combat it, to get it down, because that's its job, to get that glucose into the cells so you use it. And so because it's shooting up so quickly, that sugar drops very quickly. And then right here in this red zone, you're dropping below normal to where you're feeling bad. You're feeling tired. That's the itis. And then that insulin is hanging around for a long time. So if it's hanging around for a long time outside the cells, over time, your cells aren't going to respond to it. And that also contributes to the insulin resistance. And then what happens is, you have your cute little purple insulins floating around in the bloodstream, right? And your glucose. When you have too much insulin and nothing else to do with it, the insulin goes to fat cells and starts storing everything into fat. So you start storing fat for the winter. And if you're not a bear trying to hibernate, you don't need to store fat for the winter. And so there's 5 things you can do immediately. 1, trying to work on doing a lower glycemic index diet, which is lower carb. You can go to University of Sydney's website to figure out if your foods are actually low glycemic index. Avoiding processed carbs. That's anything bar-coded, boxed, or in a bag. None of that is for anybody to be eating. Exercising, trying to do your weight training, resistance training, trying to build muscle that brings the glucose into the cells. High fiber, increasing your fiber. Great data on if you can get your fiber up to 40 grams a day, that can actually compete taking a statin, a cholesterol medication. So that's huge. And time-based eating. So because I usually have to go over this, I said, let me throw this into this presentation real quick. So one of the things is GLP-1. That's nice and sexy. Everybody's hearing about that. Ozempic, Wegovy, those are shots everybody is doing. But we have this hormone already. The problem is our body we have just shut it down because of our lifestyle. So by getting these shots, it boosts this GLP-1 protein to an astronomical level. And so this GLP-1 regulates appetite, controls cravings, enhances metabolism. So if you boost it to an astronomical level, that's why you get some of those crazy side effects that people are getting with those shots, right? That's a synthetic way. And then you get all these other things that are on the commercials. It's not like anybody's hiding that. But the nausea, I even talked to a patient today that was like, I don't want to keep feeling bad just to lose weight. And I'm like, I know. So stop feeling bad. Great thing is we have an option. We have a natural way of boosting this without boosting it astronomically, without having all those crazy side effects. And that's what we'll talk about later with the Unimate. And then time-based eating. One thing about that, when you say that, people usually go running for the hills because everybody likes to, I don't want to say everybody likes to eat, but nobody wants to tell them not to eat, right? So it's really just time-based, time-based eating, intermittent eating, I'd say that. But there's so many benefits with this. Healing your digestion, increasing insulin sensitivity, which is huge because we're trying to increase insulin resistance, right? Growth hormone can go up. You boost the immune system, all those great things we need. So when you go longer periods without eating, your pancreas, that hormone behind the stomach, that organ behind the stomach, releases glucagon. And this glucagon tells your body to tap into fat cells for energy. So that's how you get people burning their love handles for energy. And Those 5 things. And with the right tools, this becomes easier.
You make that so digestible. I can actually understand what you say.
Oh, good. Good. That's the point.
Okay. I love that. So that's the problem. Insulin resistance. And the system helps reverse the insulin resistance. It helps promote insulin sensitivity. That is key. Yep. And if we promote insulin sensitivity and we do it well enough, we start to see some of these things that are otherwise considered chronic and progressive kind of either go away or become much more manageable. Yes. But I like the idea of going away. It went away for me. Okay. Couple of things. Again, if you decide that you want to give this a shot, get with the person who invited you into this live stream. They will tell you how to order it. If you're in this live stream and you want to share it with somebody, tag 5 people. Let's go for that. Let's make a challenge. Tag 5 people. Yep. Everybody who's in here right now, tag 5 people. Just do the @ symbol and start typing their name in Facebook, and you'll see their name pop up, and tag 5 people. Go to YouTube and share this thing with 5 people on YouTube. But let's get it out there. Let's get the word out there. And yeah, if you decide you want to order the product, just get with the person who invited you in. Whoever tagged you, whoever shared it with you, get with that person. They'll tell you exactly how to order it. Okay, I want to get to some testimonials, Dr. Tiff.
Yes, that's the fun part.
Okay, so this first one is I have to admit, both my wife Amanda and I talk about the products all the time. We're always talking about it on TikTok. We're always talking about it. We talk about it at restaurants. We're talking about it with the guy sitting next to us on the bus. Like, we're always talking about it. Well, this particular gentleman had actually was following me, but he was also following Amanda, and he ordered using Amanda's link. And I've gotten to know him a little bit over the last few weeks, but we're just getting to know each other. He actually found Amanda, and he ordered because of something that she did on a video, and thought, hey. And he's been in contact with both me and Amanda, but he said some things to Amanda the other day, and she said, hey, let's see if he can be your guest next week. And I was like, sure, absolutely. I love the fact that he's kind of brand new to the system. The next guest we'll bring on is not. So I like the idea. And there he is. Scott, how are you, sir?
Hi, can you hear me?
Oh, I can. It's a little bit muffled. How about now? Can we hear you again?
No.
Oh, man. Is it just me, or can you hear him, Tiff?
No, it's a little muffled.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm muffled.
Is the microphone muffled?
I don't think so.
Oh, it's better that you're a little bit closer. Yeah.
Yeah, get a little closer to it for us.
That's it.
That is good. Yes. Try it again.
Hear me now.
I can hear you now. It's a little bit muffled. I think you just got to be closer to the microphone. That's all.
If I just pick the phone up and I'll hold it like this.
That is perfect.
Okay.
That is perfect. I think it was the stand that you had it on, now that you say that. Yep.
Yes. Well, thanks for inviting me, Jim. And Tiff, very nice meeting you as well. To give you some of my background, I'm 70 years old, and I've been dealing with progressively advancing diabetes type 2. I was originally diagnosed with pre-diabetes probably in my late 40s, maybe early 50s, and was put on very minor doses of metformin. And I thought it was just a normal progression. In fact, the physicians at the time told me this is just the fact of life. You're going to be dealing with diabetes type 2, cholesterol, and hypertension. This is old person's diseases. You learn to live with it, basically. And you're going to lose your hair, which I have. So I just basically dealt with it. And I'm up to the point over the last year where my glucose level, which I monitor every day, was probably averaging around 160, which is fairly concerning. Didn't have any physical symptoms or effects that I noticed. I have basically a desk job. I don't do a lot of physical activity. And so I basically was soldiering on. At this point in time, I'm on 1,000 milligrams, I believe that's what it is, twice a day of metformin. And I see my internal medicine doctor every 3 months. And they just progressively, in fact, they say I'm doing well, but I just see the metformin doses going up, and I see my glucose level constantly climbing, despite the fact that I really don't eat many sweets. My greatest problem, I guess, would be eating French fries, baked potatoes, carbohydrates. And so anyway, I saw Amanda. I do view TikTok presentations, and I noticed Amanda, and I thought, my gosh, that's Olivia Newton-John, and what's she doing? And I found out it wasn't Olivia Newton-John, it was Amanda, but she was talking about the Feel Great system. And boy, on social media platforms, you hear lots of presentations about all kinds of things, whether they're tools or medicine, change of life. But when I listened to Amanda, she was backing up what she was saying with medical journals. Read this journal, go here, don't take my word for it. Google this, read this article. And she was very convincing. And I contacted Amanda, direct messaged her. She provided me with the link to obtain access to the Feel Great system. I've been on it now for not quite a month, but close to a month, probably within 10 days of a month. And what I found astonishing, prior to starting the Feel Great system, my glucose level was averaging about 155, 160. And within days of beginning the Feel Great system, and I do measure it every day, dropped from the 150 level to 122, which was probably about the 4th day of taking it. The 5th day, I was 103. This is my glucose level, I believe, with a little meter. And on the 3rd day, I was 96. And the lowest it's been after a period of maybe 10 days, a week or something like that, was 85. Now, it creeps up. I do see it jumping up. Never does it jump into the 140s. I might see it rise into the 110s, but I can relate to and say, oh, it's something I've eaten. What I'm looking for, my objective is I do manage the rolling average. Once I get my rolling average down below the 120s, which is below 100, would be average. From 100 to 120, I believe, is pre-diabetic. I'm going to have a discussion with my physician to hopefully greatly reduce or completely remove the metformin from my daily number of things I take. And at the speed I'm progressing, I see that happening relatively soon. I do have an appointment later on this month with the internal medicine physician, and I'm very hopeful that they're going to be astonished by the improvement, where in the past it's just been a slow advance. Now it's declining. And Jim, I'm hoping I'm going to be able to say after maybe months that I'm cured of type 2 diabetes, and I'm off metformin, and it's simply by using the Feel Great system. I can say using this Unimate, or I'm not quite sure how to produce.
Unimate.
Oh wow, that sounds
Unimate. Mate.
Unimate. That's
Unimate.
I would have never guessed that, but thank you very much for pointing in the right direction. They're great. They're not bad tasting at all. I use the Balance. I prefer the mixed berry flavor over the orange, although the orange isn't bad. I made the mistake the very first time I I brought these packets into the office. I thought I had 2 Unamontes, and I had one Balance, and I didn't realize it. And my afternoon drink for the Unamonte was actually Balance, and I mixed it up, and I'm drinking it. And over a period of like 10 minutes, it was thickening and like a porridge. And I was like, this is the strangest tea I've ever drank. But it wasn't bad. It was just thick orange porridge. Anyhow, I realized my mistake after I looked at the little package and it said Balance, not Unamonte. Anyway, if you mix it up very quickly, and I have a tip for folks. Here's a user tip. In using Balance, I initially was putting the Balance, the ingredients in the little bottle, and then adding water, and then shaking it up. And I found what would happen is I would get a big glob of undissolved Balance in the bottom. The way to avoid that is put water in first, then pour Balance in, which tends to float on the top, then shake the heck out of it. And it completely mixes, and you don't have any mess. You just run some water in the bottle and it cleans it out and you're ready to go. So put water in first, then the Balance, shake it up, and it's great.
They give a frother with the package with the subscription. You'll get a little, mine's out of reach now, but it's a little hand frother, and it's wonderful. It's great for when you go to a restaurant or something like that and you just want to get a little glass of water. It's really good for that. By and large, I don't really use it. I usually just use the bottle, just give it a quick little shake and down the hatch. If you over mix it, it'll start to do what you're saying, porridge. I've not heard that description for it yet, but that's reasonably accurate. Yeah, it starts to get really thick.
Yep, it sure does. I don't use the mixer because I'm just afraid of electrical devices. You never know. You know, can't trust them. Batteries explode. Bad things happen. Shaking it up works fine with me.
There you go.
Shake it. I can mix it up in my Aquafina bottle if I need to. So
that's great. What I do a lot. I do that a lot. If we go to a restaurant, that's my method. Take a water bottle in there.
Yeah.
And then I don't leave my bottle behind, right? I just give the busboy the bottle.
Yep.
Hey, Dr. Tiffany, it's amazing. Scott's talking about some pretty rapid results on his glucose inside of like a week, 10 days.
Can you guys see this? This is a shot of my screen.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
And it showed a rapid decline. And the only difference was my being on the fill grade system.
Yeah, that's it. I love it.
Dr. Tiff, I'm going to swap these screens up. And I'm going to ask you, Dr. Tiff, why? How did this work? Why did it work so fast? For everybody, and I'm assuming doctors as well, to see something like that in that short a period of time, how? Why? What happened there?
Well, I mean, there's a couple things. You do have the Unamonte that actually, that chlorogenic acid has the same mechanism of action, of metformin. So it's going to get the sugars down. You have that part of it. You also have the fasting part of this, that if you're actually missing a meal, you're not allowing your body to have so much insulin floating around. Then you're also not having a lot of glucose either. So you get time to improve your insulin resistance, which is huge for type 2 diabetes. And then you have the fiber blend, the Balance, that actually covers the food we're eating, the carbohydrates, so you don't get that all in your bloodstream. So it doesn't shoot up your sugars, and it gives you a more stable spike as opposed to that crazy spike. So all those things contribute. And I mean, you can go into the science even deeper than that, but that's the simplest way to say how that actually improves that.
Awesome. Scott, I love the story, sir. I'm going to turn that camera off. Would you mind, though, sticking around until the end? Because I'd like to bring you back in. If anybody has any questions directly of you, maybe they could ask you directly. Is that okay?
It certainly is.
You're a rock star. Thank you very much, sir. That was amazing. That's an amazing testimony. I see some questions here. Kathy from TikTok is saying, talk about getting off insulin, right? And I think Blenda asked a question pretty early on about gastric bypass. Is it safe to use for gastric bypass? I see a lot of people, Blenda, on gastric bypass. I think she was asking you directly, Tiff, so we'll have you answer that question. But guys, just so that you know, when we're done with the testimonials, we'll have about 5 or 10 minutes for all of these questions. So just keep sticking around, okay? If you've been invited into this live stream and it sounds interesting to you, get with the person who invited you in here and they will tell you how to order. If you are on this live stream and you want to share this with somebody, share it with them. If you're on Facebook, which is the largest platform for this live stream, then just type the @ symbol and start typing their name. And as you do that, you'll see their name populate, hit enter. And that's all you have to do. That tags them into here. If you've been tagged into here, if somebody has invited you into this live stream, that means they care about you and they want you to hear this message. So do them a favor and listen. It might just help you. It might just change your life. This next guest, Tiff, I've grown quite fond of. I met her last year. I'm going to let her tell her story. I remember the first time that I spoke with her. It was, this is a very kind soul, somebody who is just a wonderful human being who was just stuck. She was stuck in the sickness. She couldn't get healthy. And she was overly excited about this. Like she was like almost dancing. And without further ado, I want to bring her in. Charmaine, how are you?
Hi, Jim. I am great. Hi, Dr. Tiff. Finally, nice to meet you here. Yes, I am great. Let me tell you. So, Lord have mercy. Where do I start? I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes in, I believe it was May of 2018, I believe it was. And when my doctor told me that I have this, he turned to me and he said, you're going to have this for the rest of your life, okay? I just want you to be aware. And I looked at him and I was like, no, I'm not. Because I'm vigilant about my health. I don't just take these doctors' word at face value. I dig deep for myself. And I didn't find anything. I couldn't find anything. I was searching, but I couldn't find any answers. That same year, I lost my left kidney to renal carcinoma. Did not have to have any treatment, any radiation or chemo, anything like that, because it was marginalized. It had not metastasized, so it was great. Thank goodness. Fast forward to last year, in May 17th, I had to have another tumor removed. That was the left adrenal gland also had the same cancer. And they suspect that it was there from that time when they first removed my kidney. Still, it was not, it had not metastasized, was also marginalized. I had my surgery May 17th, came home around May 18th. I got on TikTok and was searching, and I came across this guy talking about this product, and I was skeptical, and I was like, oh Lord, right? Oh please, this is just another scam. But he said some things and did a demonstration that hooked me. He brought out the balance as well as a Metamucil cup. He had the Metamucil and did the demonstration, and I was hooked. I was so tuned in. I was getting ready to leave the live. But when he did that demonstration and I saw how thick the Metamucil was to drink it just after you just mixed it, and then the mixture of the balance, how the film was so much thinner than what the Metamucil had shown in the glass, I was like, still skeptical, but I was like, okay, I'm intrigued. I really need to get this product. I need to find out. I still did not follow him, did not do anything on the live. I just listened. I left his live, kept scrolling through TikTok, and saw other people talking about the same product. And I was like, oh my God, I have to see what's going on. Everybody was saying, because one of the wonderful side effects of taking the Feel Great system is losing weight. And they were showing their befores and after. There was one nurse in the hospital. She was drinking. She had a bottle with her and she was shaking it up, and she just drank it, and she showed how far she had come. And I was like, and within months, And I said, okay, so there's something to this. I have to find that guy. I went back to try to find him. He was gone. I said, oh no. The following day, I said, please, please, I hope he's on because I have to order. I'm not ordering from anybody else. I have to order from him. And I ordered, I believe that was around July 4th, Independence Day, I think it was. And I got my products. I believe I started on the 7th, if I'm not mistaken. It came very fast. And I began that afternoon. And I subscribed and have not looked back since because it has done wonders for me. That August, I had my physical, my annual physical. I went to my doctor and I went back on the 20th of September for my results of my physical. When I got there, my doctor was, he didn't know what to do. He was so ecstatic, wanting to find out what it was I was doing. This was him with the phone in his hand. What are you doing? Where can I find this information? Pulling out his phone. And I said, well, I can tell you. And I had my bottle that comes with a package of the Unimate in there, full to the brim, because I was saving it for after my visit because I thought maybe they were going to weigh me that morning. And I was like, I am determined to see what my results are, and I want them to see the results. So he said, what's that you have in your hand? I said, this is part of my program that I'm using to reverse, type 2 diabetes and PCOS. And he said, really? He said, yeah. I said, yeah. So he said, can I smell it? I said, sure. He took it and he smelled it. He said, what's in here? I said, ginger, lemon, chlorogenic acid, and some other great stuff. And he's like, oh, I smell the ginger. You know, I'm Chinese. We love ginger. I'm like, yes, Dr. Wong, I know you're Chinese. We can see you're Chinese. But he was so surprised and so ecstatic. He pulled up his laptop and he said, look at your numbers. I don't have problem. I never had problems with my cholesterol or anything like that. However, when he pulled it up, he said, look at your numbers. He said, your good cholesterol has gone up. Your bad cholesterol has gone down. You've lost weight. Your A1C went from a 9.6 to now a 7. I said, it's now a 6, Dr. Wong. And he said, I can tell, I can see it because I was tracking it myself. I figured out how to calculate it and did it myself, and I was tracking along. I was so ecstatic. I had lost 27 pounds by that time. I'd gone in and he said, oh, I'm going to send you patients. He hasn't sent me any patients to this day, but it was he had a student with him that was shadowing him for my visit, and he also was ecstatic. They were just so astounded by my lab results to see how well I have done. And I want to point this out. 3 days after I started using the program, I live on the second floor of my apartment, and I used to be coming up the stairs huffing and puffing. That was gone. That
Wow.
was gone. I felt a noticeable difference in my focus and just being able to just remember things. I'm not going into one room and forgetting what I went in there for. And I was like, oh my, and I just felt energized. I just felt really, really great within my body, felt really good in myself. It's like I'd gotten a new lease on life. No exaggeration. I still feel that way. And it's been so good for me. I I used to have numbers like 160, like Scott, going to bed. My glucose readings used to be 160 going to bed. I'd get up and be at 175, 180. I hated that feeling. I was taking metformin 500 milligrams in the morning, extended release in the morning, and 500 at night. Let me tell you, I did not stick to that protocol. I hated it because I knew what it had done to my dad previously. My dad passed away 3 years ago from esophageal cancer. He also had type 2 diabetes. And I think that if we had discovered this product, he would not have succumbed to that illness. but it has done wonders for me. I've introduced it to my cousin just came here from Jamaica, and I gave her a package and she's using it because I said no. I said, when were you diagnosed? She said she got diagnosed just last year. I said, well, no, we're not doing this. I said, because it's on both sides of our family. I gave it to her and I said, please take it, and gave her my link for her to order more so that we can get the products over to her. I have somebody else trying to get it for his mom in Jersey, and also for me to send something for him in Jamaica as well. So it's wonderful. I've not seen those numbers. Have not. When I go to the hospital, I've had 2 hospital stays, and during those times, I would bring my packets with me, and they would say, "Are you on any medication?" Looking at my age and my stats, my medical history, they're like, "Are you on any?" I said no. They go, "You're not on any medic." I said no. This one PA, she came in and she just stood there listening to the nurse asking me all these questions in triage, and she said, "What are you doing? What do you mean you were diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, but you no longer have it?" I said, "Because I've found something that has reversed it." And I go, "What?" She took down my information. I don't know to this day if she ever, because she took it down for her boyfriend, if she had even given it to him to use, and or if they had made a purchase because of the name of the product. But it has, they are astounded by me, my medical history, and what has been going on with me. It's a wonderful product. I would not change it, and I have not deviated from the flavors. I stick with my I,
Lemon, ginger, and orange.
I stick with my lemon ginger, mate,
Okay, so
and the
Charmaine, I
orange
want to
barley.
summarize. You've lost weight, you've
Mm-hmm.
reversed type 2 diabetes, you've reversed PCOS.
Yes. Yes.
Um, and that all happened pretty quick. You've been on it for over a year now, but that
Yes.
all happened pretty quick.
Correct. And I could have lost more. They encouraged me when I was going for treatment for the cancer. They encouraged me not to lose any more weight because they were basing it on when I go for the immunotherapy, they were basing that on my weight at that time. And so I stopped treatment in April, but I have been greedy and I have not gone back. But I'm getting on the program. I still have not gone over my readings. My readings has been the same. I've been watching what I eat. I just have not been exercising the way I need to be doing.
I'm going to do something in the interest of time. We got about 7 minutes left, and I'm seeing a lot of people have a lot of questions, and I want to get these in. I'm going to bring Scott back into here. Whoops, that's not the screen I wanted. There we go. Let's go with this.
What are the questions?
Okay, a couple of questions, but I love that story. Charmaine, I've heard that story. I've known Charmaine. I've had the good pleasure of knowing her for over a year now, and
Thank you.
I can't hear that story enough. I love hearing that story. It's amazing. It's inspiring. Okay. Amanda, my wife, Dr. Tiffany, asked a question about, and it's very open-ended. It's very difficult to understand. Amanda, I'm going to say that I want to know more information, but Dr. Tiffany, maybe you can help. Amanda asked, can you discuss unintentional weight loss and losing 100 pounds, but the A1C going up? Amanda, are they on the system? Are they not on the system? Are there other contributing things? I think that's to me, that's too broad a spectrum. What about you, Dr. Tiff?
Well, you know what I was thinking when I saw that question is I was thinking, I mean, one of the things that is a telltale sign that somebody has type 2 diabetes that has no clue is this unintentional weight loss. They're eating crap. And they're like, I don't know why, but I've lost 100 pounds. I diagnosed with somebody with type 2 diabetes like that maybe a couple months ago. And he was telling me all his symptoms, weight loss and feeling fatigued. And I was asking about what he was eating, and he was eating whatever he wanted to eat. He wasn't exercising. He was doing nothing to lose weight. So it is one of the signs we look at when there's unintentional weight loss.
Mm-hmm. You just described me.
Yeah.
I lost like 30 something pounds. Mm-hmm. And like Amanda was asking me, like, what'd you do? What are you on a diet? And I was like, I'm not on a diet. Trust me, I'm not on a diet. I don't even know what that, I could barely say the word. I just started losing weight. And I was drinking like 6 gallons of water a day, passing up beer, that was not a normal for me.
Yep. You're thirsty.
Amanda
You're
says they're
urinating a
not.
lot.
Amanda says they're not on the system yet, so I think
Yeah.
that's what that is.
So they are new diagnosed, newly need to go to the doctor, be diagnosed diabetic, type 2 diabetic. The problem is their body is not responding to the insulin. They aren't processing or using it well. They have insulin resistance, really. And so since they have insulin resistance, that insulin isn't bringing that glucose into the cells. So the cells are constantly hungry. The cells are starving. So if your cells are starving, because our bodies are going to protect ourselves, that's what we're going to do. We're not going to just die. It's going to break down whatever in your breakdown. It's going to break down fat. It's going to break down muscle. It's going to break down at a rapid rate in order to get the energy it needs, because our body wants to survive. And that's what happens.
I'm looking for Blenda's question early on, and of course it's escaping me now.
I have a question.
Yes.
My aunt in Grand Cayman has been on the products. She has not been consistent. As a matter of fact, she sent back a box of the products that I sent to her recently. Her doctor has her, and I just want you to expound on this for me, Dr. Tiffany, because it really bothers me. There was a time when she came here, like a few months ago, her reading was over 300. Over 300. There was another time when mom took her reading and it was not recorded. It was too high to be shown on the monitor. They have now placed her on metformin. I think at one point she was on 6,000 milligrams. And I told her, I said, Auntie, that's not right. That's not good. You need to speak to your physician. She went back, they placed her on 2,000. And I said, that's still too high. Because if a swift breeze come and just, she would be gone. That's how emaciated she's gone down to. And I said, I'm just very concerned because now she's on three doses of I shouldn't say 3 doses, but she has to take insulin shots 3 times per day, including metformin. And I said, Auntie, something is wrong. That is not okay for you to be doing that. And I said, please, just Google your symptoms. Go to the Cleveland Clinic website, go to, these other websites and look up your diagnosis and read for yourself. Don't just take for granted what these doctors are telling you. Because this same physician told her, oh, we have you on too much of metformin. I'm going to put you on glucophage. I'm sorry. I may not have the letters behind my name, but I know that glucophage and metformin is the same thing. Why are you giving her 3 doses of insulin each per day? 3 times a day she has to take the insulin shots along with metformin. What is that about?
I've got to, Charmaine, I hate to stop you. I've got to, because we got like 2 minutes left before our hour's up. I want to go over the system.
We need to
I'm getting questions on TikTok asking about what is the system. The system is the Feel Great system.
Yes.
It is by Unicity. It is 2 great products, 2 wonderful products. It is a tea called Unimate and a fiber supplement called Balance. Now, depending on where you're at in the world, it may be called Bios Life or Balance. They are one and the same. That is a patented blend of 7 different plant-based fibers and a multivitamin. It's amazing. It's been studied at the Cleveland Clinic and proven to lower cholesterol, lower the bad cholesterol, increase the good cholesterol, lower triglycerides, lower blood glucose, ApoB, body weight, all sorts of things. It's also been studied at the University of Sydney, Australia, and it's been shown to lower blood glucose levels 20 to 28%. That study was done by Dr. Jenny Brand Miller, who is the top professor at the University of Sydney, Australia. Effectively, she oversees the maintenance of the International Glycemic Index database and website. That's a mouthful. She knows a thing or two about blood glucose, and she has studied this. She found that it lowered blood glucose levels, blood insulin levels, the glycemic index, the insulin index. Now the tea is called Unimate. It is a yerba mate extract. It is a highly concentrated tea. It's got lots of chlorogenic acid in it, lots of theobromine. These are things that are wonderful for us. Dr. Ben Bickman is a metabolic scientist. He's a professor of cell biology and physiology, technically, at BYU. He has found that the tea, Unimate, and actually he's done published research on it, he has found that the tea increases GLP-1 by up to 70% during a fasted state. That's 70%. GLP-1, as Dr. Tiffany was talking about earlier, that's the newest craze. Ozempic, Mounjaro, I was on Trulicity, all of those. That's what they're doing, is increasing GLP-1. Well, Dr. Ben Bickman has found that Unimate increases GLP-1 by up to 70%. Okay, so how does this work? You wake up in the morning and you drink the tea while you're fasting. You fast at minimum 16 and 8. If you can go longer, that's wonderful. But you fast. Most of us choose to skip breakfast. While we are fasting, you drink a tea. I add mine. I've got one of these Yeti tumbler, 30-ounce tumbler mugs. I add it to that with some hot water, and I find myself sipping on that for about 2 to 3 hours. When it's done, I drink a second one, just like that. Sometimes I drink that hot. Sometimes I drink it cold. Sometimes I drink it in a liter of water. Sometimes I don't. Just get it in your belly. But that one goes a little bit slower as well. I'm usually drinking this stuff until noon, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, before your heaviest meal of the day, and by heaviest, I mean the one that's got the most carbohydrates in it, you mix up a balance. That's the fiber supplement. You mix it up with about 10 ounces of water. It's technically 300 milliliters of water, but mix it up with that. Mix it up fast. When you order the system, they give you a bottle. Just mix it up in that bottle and chug it. As soon as you get done drinking it, enjoy your meal. It's that simple. You enjoy your meal. When you pair those two products and that practice of the intermittent fasting, Unicity guarantees you will see results. They guarantee your satisfaction. If you try their product for 90 days and you're not satisfied for any reason, if you're not satisfied at all, ask for a refund. They will give you all of your money back. It is risk-free. It is absolutely risk-free. If you want to order the product, get with the person who invited you into this live stream, and they will tell you how to do it. They have a referral code. That referral code is good for a lifetime discount to the manufacturer. You buy the product directly from the manufacturer. Don't buy it anywhere else. We're not going to buy it on Amazon or anything like that. You go direct to the manufacturer, cut out the middleman, let them ship it direct to you. Okay. Close to an hour, a little long, but we are good. I'm going to ask Charmaine and Scott, do either of you guys, closing statements, if you were to say, hey, I want to talk to everybody who's sitting on the fence, what would you say to that person who's questioning this?
I would say take advantage of this opportunity. It's $169 with $10 off. This is the best investment you would make in yourself. And I also want to say to you that the cravings that you usually have for sugar, this helps to take it away. I no longer have those cravings. It is the best investment you can ever make for yourself. You always want to take care of others. It's time to take care of you.
I love that. Mr. Scott?
Sure. I would say I'm a natural skeptic. I'm a financial person. I really am looking for factual-based performance. And I can say this offers money-back guarantee. As you said, Jim, after 90 days, if you're not satisfied, you get 100% refund. My results speak for themselves. I had a very dramatic and rapid decrease in my blood glucose level. It wasn't based on my diet. It's the combination of the fasting, the Unimate, and balance. It works. And it worked for me very quickly. I am